Alright. I don't understand. It's been years since I watched this movie trilogy. Trilogy? No. 4 movies. I don't know what it's called. Franchise? Maybe. I guess. So, we're going to be talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks today. And why these movies don't deserve all the hate. And I don't know why I have to explain this, because it just feels like kind of pointless. But people, when they're reviewing movies, are quite harsh nowadays. I'm sorry, but I gotta say that. Like, it's a bit weird, because when I give a movie a bad rating, then the other people who saw the movie give it a better rating. But when I give a movie a good rating, then the other people give it a very bad rating. And that's basically what same thing with Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I'm going to be going through all the 4 movies. I'm going to be saying some negatives and positives about the movie. So I don't really know what to say. Let's just begin. Starting with Alvin and the Chipmunks 1. This movie right here, obviously the introduction to the Chipmunks when they meet Dave, main protagonist of all of these movies, basically. And the Chipmunks, obviously. All of those are protagonists. But Dave is one of the bigger main characters, at least. Because he's kind of the one that brings up comedy into this movie. Comedy, yeah. Well, Alvin and the Chipmunks is like a musical, action, adventure, comedy, family movie you can watch. Now, I just want to say one thing. I actually think that the other movies by like DreamWorks and Pixar and stuff, all those other movies, this movie I don't think was made by DreamWorks or Pixar at least, but I think the older children's movies were much better than the new ones. We don't have the best children movies now, do we? But the first movie, I don't know what to say negative about this movie. I obviously don't. It's a good start for the Chipmunks. It's a funny movie. It has some parts that make me laugh. Even when I've just seen this movie so many times, even though when I'm growing up, this movie, I wanted to go back to it. I saw that I had it on Disney Plus, so I just wanted to like browse through all the 4 movies and watch them over again. And I still have a fun time with these movies. There's quite few children's movies that I like, but then there's also quite many. Well, no, there's quite many children's movies that I like, but the ones that other people like, well, the ones that I barely remember. My favorite children movie franchises, or the movies that have more than 3 films or 3 films. I like Madagascar, Alvin and Chipmunks, probably one of my favorite, and we're gonna be talking about that soon. The Smurfs, I think, is okay. Now, I remember liking that movie, but I'm going to be going back to that movie now, because, alright, yeah, I like a lot of movies. Now enough to shut up. Alvin and Chipmunks 1. I have, like, no bad things about this movie. I think the main villain, Ian, I hate to say that name so much. Like, Jesus, man. I hate saying that name so much. He's the main villain in this movie. Basically, he just takes the Chipmunks for granted, and then he just makes them sing. So he can get money and stuff. Kind of, I don't know. Because Dave gets kind of fed up with them. I don't remember a lot from this movie. I'm probably saying a few stuff wrong. But the villain in this movie is a good villain. He even cracks some jokes about the Chipmunks that are quite harsh. especially in the third film. We'll be talking about that. But otherwise, are you guys ready for my rating for the first film? 9 out of 10. I don't care what people say. This movie has like a 5 out of 10. I'm just like, holy shit. And when I checked the reviews on the second film, I was just like, yeah, these characters have no purpose. Well, of course, maybe they're fucking side characters. Like, what do you think? Now we got the second movie. The second movie is definitely not as good as the first movie. This movie, positives that at least I have, is that they're in a school. The chipmunks come in a school, and well, they've got bullies in the school, and they just gotta, I don't know. Then after that, a bit later on in the movie, we get introduced to basically female versions of the chipmunks, the Chipettes. And they, now, they're kind of main villain, Ian still, I don't know how to pronounce that seriously. Ian, fuck, I don't know. He does the same thing, but with the girl chipette, the girl chipmunks, the Chipettes. And then what he does is basically, there's like a singing competition. I think they said the singing competition was to like raise money to the school or something like that. So then, Theodore and Simon, they get ready to sing, I guess. But then Alvin gets friends with this bully, and he starts playing this football game. But then he comes late to when they're gonna sing, and this is like the end of the movie. And I don't remember a lot from this movie. Probably most memorable movies I have on this list is the second one and the third one. I just said I don't remember a lot, but I remember quite a lot, but not the end, because I thought that Alvin would come in the very, very end. But no, he didn't. So then Alvin comes like, wow, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, maybe even an hour. He's at least very late. Everyone has gone. Then he realized that he's not there in time, so he can't sing. And then Theodore gets very upset and stuff. Now, I don't really know what to say about this movie. I don't really remember the ending. The ending was that, like, he said sorry and stuff, and they got, like, best friends. This movie also has Toby. He's, like, I don't know, but he's, because Dave is in the hospital. I forgot to say, in the beginning of the movie, Alvin does Alvin stuff. Dave gets a big chipmunk cardboard thingy on him, like a massive one, a really big one, and then he just gets flinged across the whole room. Now, my question is how he's still alive. Obviously, it's a kid's movie, but seriously, like, how is that possible? How can you live after that? And then he's in the hospital. So then this person called Toby, that is like Dave's grandson. Grandson. No, I don't know. I don't fucking know. And then he's got his old woman, whatever. Then the old woman goes in the hospital after Toby, after she fell down the stairs backwards with her wheelchair. It's quite like dark humor, but that's one reason why I liked Alvin Chipmunk's movie. It doesn't take like every other children's movie, and they're just like, when they do comedy, they're not just like, they have a lot of children comedy, obviously, that like, come on, you've used that 1,000 times, but sometimes they also use some dark humor, which is quite funny, and it's just a fun movie. I laughed a couple of times, not that much. It wasn't hilarious, but it's a fun movie to watch. I want to see this movie again sometimes. Maybe, especially the fourth one, because that's my favourite one. Let me tell you about it, why. So, I don't got a lot to say about this movie. Only bad thing I got to say about this movie is that it basically takes just the same stuff as the first movie did, and it just takes the same stuff as the first movie did. It's not really nothing new, really. And the Chipettes are the only big role in this movie. Still, Ian, Dave, and well, Dave is a bit more. He's still a role, but he's not the most important one. Now we're focusing on the main villain, Ian, and he right here. Yeah, the Chipettes are probably the ones. They're gonna be a big role in the other movies. Let's move on to the third movie, Alvin and the Chipmunks 3. Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked. Not shipwrecked, but chipwrecked. This movie, probably the most memorable Alvin and Chipmunks movie ever. Just because this movie was different than the other movies. Basically, they're going on vacation, the Chipettes and Chipmunks, with Dave, and then they're on this big boat, fancy boat, and then Alvin wants to, like, he sees he's flying a kite or something, then the other people are making him fly, and then he's having fun, and then they kind of just let go. Well, they lose the grip, and then they fly off in the air. Then after that, Simon tries to help them, but then they also fly off in the air. And then after that, they like crash into the sea, kind of, I guess. And then, because they're so small, apparently this donut, Theodore is sitting on it. It's just, it's really weird. And then, basically, Dave sees them and he takes this, I have no idea what it's called, but he takes it, this hang glider thingy. And then he's trying to follow after them, but then Ian comes and says that like he can't do that or some shit like that. I don't know. Then they actually, then he accidentally comes down, and then I didn't expect that to happen. So they just go, whoa, oh god, oh no. It's quite funny, not hilarious. And then they also go in there, and then because Ian is a big bird and he's got him like a job there, I don't know why he's in a bird outfit, kind of, but kind of not. I guess he's a mascot. Then Ian uses him and like sits on him or something. I don't know. Then the Chipettes and Chipmunks come to the island, and this island they stay there now. They sing their songs. They try to find a way to stay the night, so they set up a fire. Simon using his skills that if he takes his glasses and then it like reflects to the sun and then it builds a fire. So then they're sitting by the fire, having a good time, sleeping on leaves. Because they're so incredibly small, they use leaves as blankets, and it's quite funny. I think it's very funny when they do that they use like different leaves because they're so small, so it's always fun to see these tiny weeny versions of things in the movie. And then after that, the next morning, they go around, look for food, they find some mangoes, they fight over the mango, and then we meet the evil villain in this movie that's only in one of these movies, Zoe. Now, Zoe is basically a person who has lived in the jungle, she said, for about, I don't know, man, more than 10 years at least, 9 or 10 years, maybe she said 20, I don't remember, it's not something I'm going to remember. Then after that, she asks them, like, what they're doing, or something, I don't know, and then they just say, the chipmunks ask, who are you? Basically, she shows them some cool stuff that they can, like, hang glide or whatever in the jungle. It's quite cool. This movie has really good, like, cinematography. Well, it's a very beautiful movie, this jungle, let me just say that. Then after that, Eleanor, a chipette, basically the female version of Theodore, and because all of the chipmunks and chipettes are in love with each other, yeah, I don't know. Then Eleanor falls, and then she, like, breaks her leg, and then, I don't know. Then they build, then she shows the chipmunks and chipettes her home. Then she shows these pets she has, like a big rock, a tennis ball or something. It's confusing. No, not a tennis ball. Maybe it is a tennis ball. I don't know. Maybe it's a golf ball, actually. No, I know. Then she's just being kind of weird. She's a very weird, like, bad person in this movie. Why she's a bad person, I'm going to go through that later. If you haven't seen this movie, then spoilers on all of these movies, obviously, because obviously I'm describing why these movies are good, and also going through all the movies. This movie is really beautiful. It's kind of a unique idea, kind of, and I don't know. I just really like how this movie looks. I like the story too. I think this movie is funny. This is when it starts using some dark humor jokes. Can't remember everything. Well, then Ian goes around, says the chubby one to Theodore because, well, he is quite chubby. And then, basically, well, no, not really dark humor, but they use some funny stuff in this movie. Then basically, after they've showed their friends, she shows the chipmunks and chipettes these cool places. Then we've got the romance in this movie, which I kind of made me feel warm my heart. So it shows that Simon is in love with Janet. What I was going to say, Simon, forget what I said. Simon got bit by a spider, and then he turns into this person called, not Simon, but Simon. And so basically what he does then is that he's in love with Jeanette, and they start like dancing or whatever, and being very nice. He goes around he goes behind a waterfall, behind a cave, and gets her a crown, and like gives her compliments. And then after that, Alvin and Brittany, who are one bad thing about this movie, or all the franchise, is that both of the characters, Jeanette, Simon, Eleanor, and Theodore, both of them showed like love interests in each other. But with Alvin and Brittany, it's not like that. So I don't know why. Well, Brittany's kind of the more mature one, obviously. Same with No, never mind. Actually, never mind. Simon's the mature one, not Alvin. I'm sorry, I'm completely wrong. Yeah, and then they start dancing. Then Theodore asks Eleanor if she wants to dance, and then they dance. And then it's funny because Eleanor has these things to help her walk, but then she just throws them away and just like, yeah, let's dance. And then that happens. Then after that, I don't know, they build like shelters or something like that, and then Simon is not Simon anymore, he's Simon. And then they meet Dave, and then Dave meets Zoe, and they get all happy. But then after that, there's like a big they see that a volcano is about to erupt. So they start preparing to build like a raft so the volcano so they don't die, all these things hitting the ground. Then we realize that Zoe's evil. So because she wants all the treasure, she asks Simon where she found it, and then she wants to steal all the treasure and stuff. So she's using Janet to like take down in the little cave where all the gold is, and then she picks up the gold. Then they basically, well, I don't know. And then there's this big, and then they escape from the island. It's a bit scary, but it's actually a very cool scene to watch. I really, really like it. Very fun. And then the movie starts off with everyone, well, even Zoe apologizing, being very nice and stuff. So this movie was fun. Very fun movie to watch. I don't have that much bad stuff to say about the movie, except maybe that I don't know why the other characters showed love interest in each other, but not Brittany and Alvin. But this movie isn't terrible, except that it doesn't. It just felt like a shipwreck. It's shipwreck. They're on this island. I just felt like it's nothing really to do with the chipmunks story or whatever in these movies. 9 out of 10 movie. I don't care. These movies are fucking awesome. Okay. I really think people are too harsh. This is I think this is like second most hated movie. Most hated one is second one. I kind of understand why the second one is most hated. Let's go on to the fourth movie, which is actually, I'm not joking. When I watched this movie, I have one complaint about this movie. Literally only one complaint. I don't have anything else. Not even the parts where the Chipettes are doing Got Talent or whatever, America's Got Talent. This part's weird, but that's not my negative. I'm just gonna say the negative now so I don't forget it. Now, now the Chipmunks, I think, look a bit different. Quite much different. Especially Theodore. He in the last movie, he was just kind of, he had these big cheeks. His eyes were just medium sized. I don't know, they made his eyes bigger. They made like he just looks very, very different. I'm going to show you a movie from how he looked in the third movie or the other movies compared to the movie now. So this right here is how he looked in the third movie or other movies. And this right here is how he looks in this movie. Now, that's the only complaint I have, that the Chipmunks look different. But this movie's just great. Listen, this movie has really much going on. But because it has really much going on, it's more like an action movie than like a family movie or something like that. And an adventure movie. Kind of is adventure. Obviously, the last movie was definitely an adventure movie. But this movie was more like action. Basically, the bad guy in this movie is this airport guy thingy, whatever it's called, and then the Chipmunks break the rules, and then I saw this movie today, but I forgot. This movie's just great. Really many positives. The movie's different than the other ones. The movie's just fun to watch. Animation is good. I don't know, it's just a fucking awesome movie to watch with a family. Like, this movie is really fun to watch with your family. My mum is a big fan of, well, not a huge fan, but quite a big fan of Alvin and Chipmunks. And if I'm ever going to, like, do a little marathon with her where we pick, like, 5 of our favourite movies, then this movie's definitely going to be on the list. And I'm going to have a very fun time watching this movie again, because it's very fun to watch. Very enjoyable movie. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about this movie except only negative. Dave gets a girlfriend called Samantha, and then they try to, like, stopping, but then this person called, oh, that's right, Miles. He's called Miles. Basically, he's kind of the bad, evil person in the beginning of this movie. Not the evil person, but the person who kind of messes with the Chipmunks. Now, but then he gets very nice in the end of the movie, or like halfway throughout, basically. A bit more than halfway of the movie, he gets very nice and they work together. So then they're trying to stop Dave, because they see that Dave has a ring, and they try to stop Dave from marrying Samantha. So they don't have to be a family or something. I don't know. But then apparently the ring is for, like, one of his friends to marry his girlfriend, one of Dave's friends, or something like that. So then they misunderstood. And then Dave wasn't going to marry Samantha, obviously. This movie is just fun to watch. It sounds really boring when I explain it, but trust me, this movie, if you're not a harsh person when it comes to movie, if you're not a harsh critic, then this movie is just gonna be really, really fun. Like, I could be 15, I could be 20, I could be probably 40, and I still just think this movie, and I will still think this movie is so fun to watch. If I ever have kids in my life, then I will want to show them the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. I think they'll think that they are fun. Even I think these movies are fun. So I just went through all of the movies now. Told you all why this movie is unappreciated. All these movies, and I'm not joking. I really want there to be much more movies. Like, these movies are really fun. I don't want them to change how the Chipmunks looked or anything. I want them to go back to the old look in the first movie to the third movie, not the one in the fourth one. I like that one much more, but I obviously don't see a difference. Takes you like 5 minutes until you can't see a difference anymore. Now, yeah, these films are underappreciated. This movie, 10 out of 10. Fourth movie, 10 out of 10. I just could have... One of my favourite movies of all time, literally. I don't care, man. This movie, I don't care over how the fuck the lightning was made, lighting or whatever. It's just a fun movie to watch, really fun to watch. It just has perfect pace. Most of these movies have very good pace. Most movies that I've seen have good pace. This movie is very fun to watch. Thank you for watching.